Welcome back everyone to Hoshizora Studios, and today we'll be presenting an eye shading tutorial. Alright guys, the first thing we need to do is open Iblis Paint. Alright, and we're gonna pick a line art, but we already have one here, so I'll go ahead and grab that. Go ahead and draw your line arts. Alright, the next thing we need to do is color the eyes white. Remember to do it on a different layer. Alright, and so here we go, we're gonna move those around, different layer. Alright, the next thing we need to do is draw the iris. Go ahead and pick a color. Alright. And let's see, we're going to use the tools here, and we're going to draw a circle. Alright, just draw the circle right here, and now we have, there we go. You have the iris, or at least the outline of it. Alright, the next thing is go ahead and fill it in. Alright, and then what we're going to have to do is go ahead and we're going to blur the outside of the iris because the edges are too sharp, so we need to blur them a little bit, make them look a little bit more realistic. Alright, I'm going to zoom in here, and then here we go, right here, and I'm blurring the image, right, blurring the outside of the iris. There we go, clip the layer. Alright, and then the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and pick a darker color, and we're going to use that to make the pupil. Alright, let's see, scroll down a little bit. It's still a little bit in the purple, but it's going to be a darker color, so it still matches. Alright, we're going to grab the circle tool again. We're going to enlarge it, make sure it's in the middle, and draw another circle. Alright, there we go. And once again, we're going to fill it in. And then we're going to tap blur, put the opacity to 50, and then blur the sides of the pupil. Just like that, see? And see what we're doing here is as we blend it, it gives the eyeball depth. And the next thing we're going to do is lower the opacity. That could be your choice, you don't have to, but I'm doing it here. Alright, and after I've lowered the opacity, the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add a clipped layer below the pupil, set the mode to add. Alright, set the mode to add. Go ahead and zoom in here again. And we're going to grab the eye color. Go ahead and use an eyedropper. And we'll snatch that color here. And then the next thing that we're going to do is scroll down. We're gonna find, let's see, graphite at about 2.6. Alright, turn on the force fade, the stabilizer to 7, length of the start and the end to 40%. Alright, and now I have all that set. I'm gonna go ahead and draw these lines, and these are the fibers of the iris, so it's adding realism to your eyeball. Just draw all these lines here, a couple more, because if you ever looked at an eyeball really close, you can see a whole bunch of fibers within the eyeball, and that's what we're simulating here. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is add a layer, blend mode add, clipping on, and the color will be white. Alright, see, set that to white right here. Alright, and then the next thing we're going to do is draw a whole bunch of little messy lines to fill in that eyeball even more, to make it look even more fibrous. Just like if you looked at a real eye. Fill in all the little gaps. There we go. See, look at that. Looks a lot better. And now what I'm doing is lowering the opacity to about 75%. Alright, just checking out my work here. Zooming in. Okay, there we go. And the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and add a layer below the line art, blending mode add with the clipping on. Okay, and grab this here color, the purple again. And then what we are going to do is we're grabbing a felt tip pen, and we're creating a reflection. So watch here, I'll use a circle tool, and I'll go ahead and fill this in right here. Just do that little circle, and we now have our reflection. Alright, and go ahead and lower the opacity of that reflection to about 55%. Okay, and the next step is to add a layer below the line art, blending normal, clipping off, and pick a darker color. Okay, and I'm grabbing the airbrush to color the upper eye, and just make sure that airbrush is normal. Okay, and see how we're darkening in the top here? Just smear it all over the place. Just make sure it gets all dark at the top. And don't worry about how it looks now. We're going to fix that just in a sec. The next step, what we're going to do is go ahead and lower the opacity to about 55 or 50%. And there you go. Now you have a shadow on your eye. Alright, and go ahead, add a layer below the line art. And the blending mode will be add. Alright, and add designs to make it look cooler.